I crossed the border from Jordan into the West Bank by myself just a week after the war with Iran broke out. I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, there were obviously air raid sirens going off. There were missiles being intercepted overhead. But after spending just a couple hours in the West Bank on the ground, I realized that the biggest threat there definitely wasn't coming from the sky. I'm Emma Withrow, and this is episode 4 of my independent reporting series from the West Bank. When most people think about violence, they think about bullets, they think about bombs, and in some cases that is what's happening and what's being used. But in other cases, it can look a lot different. It can look like a gate. It can look like a road that suddenly you can't use. It can look like land that has been in your family for generations that all of a sudden you can't touch. In village after village that I visited in the West Bank, people described a system that's created by the Israeli government that doesn't just control movement. It does do that, but it's not just that. It creates uncertainty. For example, these are the gates that control access in and out of Termasaya by car. And people who live here say it's closed without warning.
They would not give us a schedule. We just find out from the guys' groups. They have groups on the WhatsApp, and they go ahead and send messages to each other.
When somebody sees that it's open, they send out a message, hey, the gate's open.
Yep.
It might seem trivial, but this gate turns daily life for Palestinians into a waiting game. We're talking about things like school, work, emergency medical care.
They're bleeding. Just open the gate for us and then close it again. We need to get them to the hospital fast.
Yeah.
If we don't, they're going to die. Of course, the soldier doesn't care. In fact, they want him to die.
And Yasser says whether or not these gates are open can sometimes be the difference between life or death, literally. And that happened the day before I got there. And that's what makes these type of, at least what some would call intimidation tactics, so effective. It's the uncertainty and also lack of reliable response when something is going wrong. And that pressure and intimidation isn't just confined to the roads or the gates. Yasser and his wife Janan have had an olive orchard in their family for hundreds of years, but they haven't been able to tend to it. They haven't been able to harvest it in over a year, or really even step foot on it, because an Israeli settler outpost popped up just down the hill.
We're visiting the land again one more time. This is my land that I inherited from my father. It's in the family for thousands of years.
When he came to harvest the olive, they told him, go or we shoot you.
And it's important for people to understand olive trees here in the West Bank aren't just crops. They're income, their inheritance, and their identity. So when access to these groves is cut off, the damage isn't just economic, it's psychological.
To see your land like this.
That's why this isn't just about security. What people described here over and over is that fear is a part of daily life. And who knows, maybe that's the point. Because intimidation doesn't remove you overnight, it works slowly. It's a gate. It's an armed threat. It's an olive orchard that's been in your family for hundreds of years that you now can't touch. For Palestinian families, these aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a system where control is enforced through fear. And that fear is shaping everyday life in the West Bank.